Hey everybody, I am here to talk a little bit about the SwiftUI Toolbox that I have built you. This playground is designed to give you the tools you need to really visualize the app that you're building using SwiftUI. And my hope is that you can get a little bit of an understanding from this video to see how you can play with this and how you can lay out the app that you're trying to build using these tools. So let me show you what we have. This blank SwiftUI template, the first one in the list, is the boilerplate code for a SwiftUI app. If I run the code, you can see it's just a blank screen, and there in the middle is some text. And so your task then is to go through the other pages and get just the SwiftUI elements that you want. So let me show you how to do that. Let's say that I want to add a slider and an image to my SwiftUI layout here. So I'm going to go to the slider example. I'm going to take the variables section and I'm going to paste it above the body. The placement of this is pretty important. So make sure you paste it above this area that defines the SwiftUI skeleton that you're using to build your app. So I'm going to take those variables up there. Those are the variables that my slider is going to use. And then I go back here and grab the slider UI code, and I'm going to paste that right into the VStack. So you can see I have some comments to separate it from everything else. I run the code, and now you can see I have a sweet looking slider right under my text. Let's add an image now. So I'll go to the image page. I'm going to grab the UI code. The UI code we always paste in to the body. So I'm going to put that there. And because this is a VStack, I should have the text, my slider, and my image. And I've loaded in an image of a sketch of an app that I made not too long ago. Let's check it out. So now you can see that I have my image here, my slider, and the text is all the way up top. Let's say that I change my mind and now I would like there to be text next to the slider. So I have the two side by side instead of the way we have it up there. So to do that, I want to use an H stack. So I'm going to take both of these elements that I've put here and I'm going to store them inside of an H stack. Playgrounds helps me when I type the first brace, it gives me a second one automatically. So I can just take all of this and paste it inside. All right, so now those are side by side. Now looking at this, you'll see everything is going all the way up to the edges. So maybe I want to add a little bit of padding inside so that the text and the slider don't run all the way up to the edge. So if you look at some of the examples that we've used in our class, I can add the padding feature to this H stack. So you see, just by adding that right after the H stack, it gives a nice little space next to this. And you can keep adding in elements until this is kind of the way you want it. Let's add one more. Let's add a date picker. So I'll go to the date picker example. I'm going to grab the variables first, go back to my template, paste those in, and now let's look at the date picker to see what it gives us. You see that you can have one do a date and you can have it do a time. And let's say that I want to do a time. I'm going to take all of this code for now, paste it into the template. And let's put that right above the image. And let's see what this looks like. And so now I can kind of see it has all of these elements. I really only want the time there, so I'm going to go to this VStack that is inside of that date picker code. So let me delete this part of the VStack, and notice I still have everything that's for the date picker. I still have this VStack there. Run the code, and now I only have the time. Now let's say I want to make it so that everything in my SwiftUI app has this padding. I can do that by taking the padding and moving it to the outside of the entire VStack. Now just to show you that I'm in the right place, when I go to this brace and I tap there, it highlights what that brace is closing. So I know I'm in the right place for the VStack. And so now that I'm there, I'm going to do the dot padding on that. And now you can see everything has that padding. I'm going to show you one more feature that I think you're going to like. I have this tab bar example that I put in here. And so this has 3 tabs at the bottom that are all ready for you to use. So one thing that I can do when I've made one screen that I really like and I want to build other screens that fit into a tab bar like the one I'm showing you here, I can take the variables for my screen and paste them in the variables area for the tab view. And then I can take all of my code inside of here. I can take the entire V stack. So again, making sure that I highlight the correct area. I can copy that over and I can go to this tab number 1 code, paste in all of that code. Now remember, this has tab number 1, tab number 2, and tab number 3. So you do have to stay organized and remember where everything is as you piece this together. So now when I run this, you'll be able to see that I have this tab. This has all the things that I put on my previous slide. But if I go to the other tabs, you can see that I can switch between different screens that I've made. Now you'll notice that I did delete this. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to hit undo. And I can see actually that when I pasted all that in, I didn't want to actually delete everything. I just wanted to delete this part. So I'm going to delete that, put in some space, now paste in my code, and run it. And now I have a beautiful tab bar. And you'll also notice that these settings that are part of this tab automatically transfer over to this here. So now all of this font, it's bigger, it's easier to see. I have my slider, I have my start time, and I have my image. So I think you're gonna have fun playing around with this. Let me know if you have any questions, obviously. It may not go perfectly, but I think this is gonna help you understand the way SwiftUI works in the layout of an app. Have some fun. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you next time.